Guys, good morning, man. Like, this is going to be a very special episode because we have a very special guest on. I've never met him, but I've had the opportunity to talk with him, and I feel like a man in his position has the perfect explanation of what masculinity is and what it isn't, and how it can be applied to many areas of your life. But when it comes to
Mhm.
sports, when it comes to
Yeah.
dating, even when it comes to your personal life. So, I don't want to take up most of the air in the room. Sean, why don't you
Mhm.
tell them a little bit about yourself and what it is you do?
Well, I am a sports psychologist, so I incorporate every part of psychology into sports. Whether you want to call it law of attraction, whether you want to call it anything you like, it's always the abundance of something that I will always incorporate into fitness. Law of attraction is still it applies to sports psychology because obviously it's psychology. So I touch on every part of psychology, but I happen to incorporate all of my expertise, shall we say, into fitness, into making yourself feel good, into making life easier for yourself. It's not that I have all the answers, but I have all the clues for you to work out for yourself, and that's what I do. So I've been doing that for 14 years as a sports therapist. So I cover all aspects of psychology within fitness, and cover all sort of psychology aspects of life, but I can always incorporate into fitness, which is a good thing because there is, you need an answer for something. Whether it's mentally you need an answer for something, or you need an answer for something that's incorporated in sports. It's an active thing. It's energy. It's all about a lot of energy. So whether you put your mind into mental energy or you put your mind into physical energy, it's all the same abundance. So that's sort of my take and sort of what I want to try to bring to the table today. So
I love that. I love that. So pretty much, again, like, we're gonna just fire questions at you because I feel
yeah,
like
I love
you're
it. I love it.
I feel like you're a fountain of information, especially with you being
Yeah,
a lot older than me.
yeah.
Not older, but more
We're
as in the
not that
sense
much
of,
older than you,
no, but you know
Michael.
what I
Come
mean though, like,
on, come on. We're not
more
in
as
our
in the sense
60s.
of,
Well, my birthday says 1979,
Yeah, mine
so
too.
when it says the 79, it's sort of okay. You're quite old actually because you've
But
got
we're
well,
not.
79.
Yeah, we're not. We're
well,
actually
more
young.
more of in the sense of you've experienced life a lot
Yeah,
more
yeah,
than
yeah,
I
yeah,
have, because
We've
I
done more.
feel
I think
like,
we're 7 years,
yeah,
Michael.
yeah,
Seven
yeah,
years more
yeah.
than
Well, I
you.
mean, but that's how life does go in it with categories as regards to your age. That you live a certain life and you understand certain life in certain categories. Like whether you're born in the 80s or 90s, we're all differently. But it's best
Brought
always
up.
to leave. It's always best to leave something for someone else to try to understand, even if we don't understand ourselves. But if it was born in the 70s, so the people that are born in the 80s, we want to let them know so they can progress and manifest from that and move on. Do you see what I
I
mean?
like
It's like to
that.
make things all easier. And the same with the people in the 80s for the 90s. You know what I mean? It's like leaving them something that they can think about and something that they can move on with mentally, not just physically. Am I
Well,
right?
what's interesting about it is because you said something to me that was very interesting, because you said I'm actually on the cusp of masculinity because of my age, because with me being 35, I'm
Yeah.
like on the cusp of like, um of that hyper masculinity, let's say. So because you're like a little older than me, like, you've already been through that journey, and
Yes.
you've
Yes.
seen masculinity because, like, you're a sports therapist. You've seen like all types of masculinity and applied in sports. So why don't you tell us what masculinity is for people that don't know, especially for the men?
Good
Or
question.
masculinity. I mean, listen, we can scrape it right the way back of masculinity. I mean, masculinity is a massive substructure in the sense that it has many forms, i.e., that there's social masculinity, there is, and there's other masculinities involved with it. But as from 1, 2, and 3, what we've learned of what masculinity means is that we take control, that we look after the woman, we take their bags for them, we hold the door for them. That is the basis of 1, 2, and 3 of subcultured masculinity, no matter what. It's just about that respect part of it. But what we really need to try to bring into the situation is that there's more than just 1, 2, and 3. Do you understand? I mean, there's more. There's more. It goes in depth with masculinity, and with masculinity, it's not a bad thing, because women also use masculinity because they have their own peace and power. They'll say, right, we stand up for women's things or women's rights. That is still a part of masculinity because it's moving forward. It's not being submissive to subjective ideations of worlds, i.e., okay, so you're a man, you have to be masculine. I'm a woman, so I don't have to be. No, we are in that subcultural now where it doesn't matter your background or where you come from. If you need to move forward, and by moving forward, it means that I have to be masculine, then, higher peace to that, to everybody else who wants to do that, because that's their movement of moving forward. So as regards to how I feel about masculinity, I think it's in the evolvement that everybody can be masculine. And
I love that.
In my expertise as regards to sports psychology, then that still applies, regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of your culture, regardless if you're male or female. Masculinity is a way of moving forward, and we all have to accept that, regardless of what avenue and where we need to go with it to make ourselves feel better, or where we need to go to make ourselves be in the right place.
And do you think that masculinity started from literally hundreds and hundreds of years ago to a way that people felt this is how it used to be for men, and this is men used to go out and hunt and do all the manly things? Do you think that that's where it started from, and it's evolved from there, but it's actually gone more into women now to what it used to be?
I agree with that, Michael, because I believe that our DNA as a man is imprinted that we need to be a certain way, regardless. That's how. I mean, I don't know anything else as regards to, as it comes to masculinity. Yes, we know there's more subterranean stuff to go into, but as a man, I know that the basis are exactly what you said. That a man needs to do this, a man needs to do that, and that's that. That's what they need to do. Yeah. So you're right. As times move forward, yes, you are 100% right. Women are now stepping up. It's only because.
Do you think it's a good thing that women are starting to put?
It's only because of Jerry Spice.
We spoke earlier.
Women power, yeah.
I love that you guys covered that, because I will break it down and again. Yeah. I would love to hear your perspective on it. I will say that yes, masculinity is imprinted on us because of purpose. Yeah. At the end of the day, a man needs to have a purpose. Like back then, when men were hunting, their purpose was to provide for the family and to pretty much go out there, be a man, and take charge. So I love that you said that about taking charge of your life. 100%. I would agree with that. Now, when it comes to the female dynamic of it, yes, women have to be masculine in some areas of their life, like when it comes to work and stuff like
running a business, let's say.
But this is the caveat: not in a relationship,
right?
Because a masculine man is going to be turned off by a masculine woman. And
that's going to be scary, right? We did that. We had conversation. We covered this aspect, Michael. You're actually absolutely right, and I totally agree with you. Hands down to you for actually bringing that subject up and even highlighting that actual topic, because we actually said that it is scary for a man. If a woman is being masculine, we kind of tend to back off and we go, "No, that's not really what we want," and we're scared of it. So I'll take my hat off to Michael. You're right.
It's like when you meet a masculine woman, it's like being with one of your boys with sexual benefits. That's literally what it is.
Yeah.
Literally, that's what it is.
Yeah. You're right. You are right.
No, because if a woman comes with harsh, I've experienced it within business where a woman has been quite masculine, and actually because it's coming from a woman, it's even made me as a woman and I'm quite a feminine woman. It's made me kind of stand back and say, "Whoa, what's happening here?" Because I'm not expecting that from a woman. If that makes sense. Well, I'll accept it from a man because that's what I'm expecting. just me personally, I'll expect a man to come in and maybe give direction within a business to say, okay, do this or do that. And I would follow that direction with respect, let's say. But when a woman comes to me and tries to implement that masculinity towards me, it makes me stand back to say, whoa, what's going on here? Where's the feminine energy here? I want to work. I'm choosing a woman because I want to work with the feminine energy. And if I wanted to be around a man if I wanted to be around a man in business, then I would choose that. And I've got those choices in all different aspects of my business, if that makes sense.
It does. And I'm going to say this. And I honestly think women can still lead with feminine energy, so they don't have to be masculine, because leading with feminine energy is leading with grace, understanding, compassion. So it's like you don't have to put on the masculine mask to get heard. You know what I mean? Like the greatest thing you can do is lead with femininity. So what I mean by that is, even myself, like I like to consider myself a very masculine man, but I was having a conversation. I was disagreeing with somebody, a female, and she wasn't getting rude. She wasn't getting crass. She wasn't trying to prove that she was right. And then I'm telling you, it made me step back a little bit and say, you know what? Maybe she's right. Because again, she led with femininity. She wasn't
there was
trying
no
to
aggressiveness behind it.
Exactly. Her ideation of what the answer was not a regressment of anger.
Yeah.
So her ideation was that, okay, look, this is how it is, and I'm telling you with peace, mind, and equality.
Exactly.
And it makes you understand, doesn't it? And
it helps you hear.
It made me step back and say, you know what? Maybe she's right, because she wasn't coming at me with masculine energy. Because as a man, when I'm matched with masculine energy, what is my natural response? To respond with masculine energy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
It's that step forward, isn't it? Not in an aggressive manner, but more in a, what's the word? Like you're pushing yourself forward in a high energy, but so but you're right. If you're speaking with a female and she's calm with you,
I think that, to be fair, I think that if you have two males who are masculine and they have the greatest ideology of life and they come together, they can still make that work. I don't think that it takes a male and a female perspective for ideology to come together to make a realization. It can be from a male to a male. It depends on the culture. It depends on the criteria. It depends on everything else. So we are all born the same at the end of the day. We are all born the same with different attributes. So there is always going to be an understanding, regardless of your culture, your background, your male, your female. There's always going to be the ideation that we will understand each other. But we have to express it in our own ways, whether them ways are right or wrong. It doesn't matter, but we all still have an understanding. But it just means that we're all in the mix. It means that we're all in that big circle. So you understand, and even if you don't understand, you understand in another way. And your ideology of everything else is still an understanding, but you're still in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're sitting there face to face. And you've got this massive world open in front of you, and you're trying to explain each other what's going on. And this is your take on it. That's when you're taking it. But regardless, it doesn't matter, because we are speaking the same thing and we're hitting the same notes and we're trying to get the same thing. And that's what's most important. The most important aspect of it all is that we're all trying to explain or express the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No matter who looks or however many who have a look at you, or regardless, you know what I mean. We're all on the same level. We're on the same plane. We're all trying to explain the same thing, and we want to get things out there. Do you know what I mean? And it's so it's one of them things. I think as my perspective.
I like that. And I'm gonna ask you a tough question right now. Do you think there is such a thing as toxic masculinity?
Do you know what? How funny.
We just spoke about that.
Just spoke about it, Michael, because there is that aspect. There's, like I said, there's many subcultures, but there's also many different structures as regards to masculinity. And toxic masculinity was one subject that me and Anthony spoke about, which basically means you're taking on the trait of you're over affirming, you're overexcited about you being masculine, you're overstepping the mark, It means that you're holding doors, you're holding bags, but it means that you're going more forward than that. You're taking upon yourself being toxic masculinity.
Negativity goes into it.
Negativity does then recess within that. You always, there's the yin and the yang and the opposite, always have that. But with toxic masculinity, the person living that toxic masculinity will not see nothing. Will only see that they're right and what they're doing is absolutely right. But in a social aspect, it won't look good because toxic masculinity is something that I believe you shouldn't do because you take on the role of professor. Like you will talk and you will be the person who is overpowering to everything, and whatever you say goes. So in essence, toxic masculinity is definitely not the way to be, but there is such a thing, and that you have to accept that if you are being toxic masculinity, that you have to think about the aspects of what else is going on behind the doors if you're being that person. So I don't know how else to explain it.
Well, I think sorry to cut you there, right? Yeah. But I think like if somebody's being toxic in using toxic masculinity, like you said, it's an overpowering thing. So you're putting a male could come to a female, and I'm going to put it into this content here. If a male comes to a female and starts being really overly aggressive and kind of stepping up to her. So like as the woman standing there, normally, let's just say she's smaller than him, he's bigger, and he's stepping over her and pointing and shouting.
Like assertiveness, like he's being over assertive. Yeah.
He's doing being OTT, we call it in England.
Yeah, OTT, over the top.
Over the top.
He's over assertive.
Yeah. So if somebody's coming, if a man's coming to a woman like that, then a woman's going to shut down and she's going to automatically, she doesn't know what his next move's going to be. Because if he's coming to her like that and then he's showing more and more aggression, that's being toxic because it's way too much aggression and way too much power. Because we know as women, I don't know if all women know this, but as a woman, I know, like, I'm not going to step up to a man because I don't have that power and I don't want that power.
Well, that's why subterranean is called toxic.
Yeah, because it's toxic, because it's not right.
That's why it's called toxic.
And there's no middle ground There's no communication.
It's not called the grace of God toxic. No. Masculinity. It's not called anything. It's called toxic for a reason.
Yeah, it's toxic.
It is. It's the clues in the name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, the clues in the name. Toxic is not the way forward. But yeah, I understand that.
I do agree with you guys. I just think a lot of times women don't like, of course there's toxic masculinity, there's toxic femininity. I just think that we never want it pointed towards us. And what I mean by that is, because think about it like this. Let's say I'm dating a woman, we live together, right? And a robber breaks in the house. She's going to want me to be that toxic masculinity towards that robber.
Yes.
She's going to be like, you better go beat him up.
Yeah.
There's time and a place.
That's what I mean. Like, so he's never going to want me to like be that way with her. But if somebody's threatening like our household or like whatever, she's going to be like, yeah, you better put all that toxic masculinity towards that robber right now.
I mean, I think that's a natural reaction anyway, Michael, wouldn't it, for us men to do that? But yeah, you're right.
And if my man turned around and looked at me and said to me, "You go and do it," I'll be like, "Whoa, no! I think let's just split up from here on."
I don't think that would happen. I mean, I don't really think. I mean, yeah, I don't think that would happen. No.
Well, it's funny that you.
Someone breaks in now. I know Sean would jump up and he wouldn't let me go anywhere near them. I know that.
But,
I know that.
Yeah, but what Michael's saying is regards to toxic relationship, there is a time and what he's trying to say.
Yeah,
there is a time and a place. He's not dismissing toxic. He's just saying there is a time and a place for it, and where is it applied and where does it be needed. Yeah. I can totally understand what Michael's saying. It's like we cannot dismiss toxic masculinity because we can't. No. There is a time and we need it. And Michael is 100% right on touching on the subject as regards to the structure of different levels of masculinity. Toxic is one of them, and toxic you still need. It's one of them things you do need. So Michael Thank you for bringing it up. That's right.
So I suppose what we're saying here is that you can apply toxic masculinity in the right situation.
You shouldn't apply it to your relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But you can apply. There is a time and place for it. If someone breaks in, then that's the time to do it.
Yeah, that's the time when you gotta be in that high, and that's why it's gonna touch on another thing that I really want Sean to elaborate, because we talked about it briefly, is selective masculinity. And I know that we touched on that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time, and I want you to, again, like, to share like a little bit of your work, because you see a lot of athletes that are in their masculinity, but you've even told me that some of them, once they're out of the ring or once they're done with it, shuts off. So please do tell us about that.
Okay, so my past experiences with masculinity within the sports is the fact that I have seen the masculinity part of somebody only within their sports reign. Now, within their personal life, they've shut that off and they're totally opposite. So my take on it is that with sports with masculinity within sports is only gathered by the person who is being that person. So I've had problems with, I can bring these in because these are my past experiences, and that's absolutely fine. I don't have to mention any names.
No.
So that's fine.
We don't do names.
So I've had my past experience with masculinity within sports. Now, one of my clients was very masculine on the outside, having fights and doing MMA and, all this masculinity. I was overwhelmed by it. But, hey, like being a nice person I was, helped him out. And when it come to my services and everything else, then all of a sudden the masculinity just decided to disappear. I saw his personal life and his personal person. The masculinity wasn't there. That's what my take on it is regards to in the sports of what I've seen. So I've seen someone who has been masculine throughout their career, but in their personal life they're not. So I've seen this, and it's very disappointing, because if you live a certain way and you're masculine, then you die by the sword, as they say. So if you live by the sword, then you die by the sword. But there's not a lot of cases of that. There's a lot of cases that people just progress to be masculine, want you to see that they're masculine, but deep down that they're not. If you're masculine, you're masculine, you live a life, and that's it. So it's a case of that I've seen the top end of masculinity.
Like, you're not trying to prove that you're a masculine, you just are. Like,
you just are, you ain't. Exactly, Michael. You either are, you ain't. Do not progress and put on somebody that you are, and then you don't live that life, or you don't show that life, because you can't just live a life of masculinity and then all of a sudden you just turn the opposite. You know what I mean? So so I've seen it. I mean, in past aggression and past influences what I've had in life, that masculinity within sports is not a definitive answer, because there's going to be people that just walk the walk but don't talk the talk, and that's an English saying. I don't know if you know that in America, but
I do.
You either walk the walk or you don't. Or you talk the talk or you don't. So. And I've had the decision of making my mind up of what I've seen it, and I just that's my take on it as regards.
Well, that's why I want to ask you that question, because again, it's so interesting that you say that, and that's why I'm so happy you're here. Yeah. Because let's take an example of like Mike Tyson. Everyone says beast in the ring, like unconditionally, the guy's a monster in the ring.
Yeah, it's still always
outside of it, nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
But does that mean because he's the nicest guy in the world, he portrays feminine?
No, it's not, because within his sports, he will go 100%. With Mike Tyson, he will do 100% what it takes to be masculine, to show the overpowerment. But then you will see the other side of Mike Tyson, in the loving side, the caring side. Yeah. So that's why I like Mike Tyson, because he will do 100 of one and 100 of the other. He won't lie. He won't tell you lies. He will be truthful. He will be 100%. I am the best fighter, and prove it. And then Mike Tyson will be, well, actually, you know, I'm a caring person and prove it also.
And he'll show that.
You know,
love
he's never giving you 50% and then showing you 25 that could be, 25 that can't be. It's either all or nothing.
Right.
That's why I like Mike Tyson, because you know, he was, and he still is. You know, he's still got it. He's still got it.
And I think also when it comes down to like saying the loving and the caring side, people do have that mistaken and say, oh, that could be very feminine, but I don't think it is. I think
it's being real, isn't it?
Yes, it is being real, and it's being real. It is totally being, because if you're, I suppose everything has to have its balance, right? Like you said earlier on, the yin and the yang. It's like a balance between things. If you're continuously showing up with a masculine energy, then that can be draining, because like how much are you going to take of that like a masculine energy to me is quite strong energy as such. It's always going to overpower my energy as a female, and if it didn't, then it's going to make me feel like I'm with a female. Does that make sense?
Well, I think when you put it like in the Mike Tyson sense, like very dominating in the ring, but like outside of it, he knows how to be like nice, loving, and caring.
Humble, very,
but
very
at the
humble
same
man.
time,
he can show his masculinity,
like he's ready to show the masculinity if he needs 100%. To outside of the ring. Like even he knows how to assert himself if he has to.
I mean, he's got. I mean, the guy. Listen, the guy's not even in his prime. Yeah, we didn't really get to, like, now we're speaking of him now. We didn't get to speak of his prime then.
You know, he was way more aggressive back in his prime.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. But we're talking about him now, and he's still able to fulfill
both sides
of that. Do you see what I'm saying? So the man's a legend in my eyes, really, in the day, because he's fulfilling. You know, he's still fulfilling both sides of the story.
Yeah.
You know,
put it this way, like a boxer can go in a ring, be masculine, leave the ring, but still love his wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still be good to his wife.
Yeah. I think that's, you're right.
Like with that masculinity, like he can leave it in the ring, still come out, still bring that masculinity, but also still being able to know like when to assert himself.
Yeah, it'll be a different aspect of it. Yeah,
but that's the thing. When he does the assertions, he actually fulfills the assertions. So the transition of assertions that he does, he will fulfill that and do that properly. So if 1 minute on the assertion that he needs to be masculine, he will be masculine. He'll fulfill that. When he needs to be the opposite of that assertion, then he will do that and fulfill it. There's no sort of in between of keep guessing. You exactly know what you're getting. It's written on the box. When you open the box, it's exactly what it's written. You know what you see. What I'm saying, that's why I like Mike Tyson, because I think that's, he is, as regards to an athlete, that he is obviously on my behalf, because obviously in sports.
Well, that's what interests me, because think about it. Like, let's use him for example. Think about it. He'll beat the crap out of someone, leave him in a bloody mess, or knock him out. But the next thing you know, you see him hugging, kissing, and
and if he was to bring the boxing ring to his home to his wife, and that's when it becomes toxic, right?
Yeah, that's when it becomes
absolutely.
But that's why he's the greatest, because he's able to transition the two. He's able to keep one apart from the other.
Yeah,
he's able to do one, fulfill it, leave the other one, come back to it when it needs to be done, fulfill that, and then both sides are pretty much happy.
I think it's very like selective, because it's like, let's take an actor for example. You have an actor that can play multiple roles. He can play the villain. He can play the hero. He can play the funny guy. So it's like, know when to be what.
Yeah.
Yeah. And exactly. I think men will, I don't know if I'm right to say this, but you naturally will implement that at the right times, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not like you're thinking, oh, I've got to be masculine in this kind of scenario. It just naturally comes to you to be that way, right?
Yeah, but some men just don't know, because they were never taught what is it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the honor. You got to think of it like when we're talking about the whole subject of different criteria of things, social, toxic, and what we've known, and cultural as regards to everything else. You're right. That is one implement that you have to add to the equation. That is what you've been taught, not just what you see on a social aspect, not what you know from a cultural aspect. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. So that's what the aspect of it is. It's there's many substructures to the law of it all, So it's not just
that's
one
what makes
thing.
it interesting, because when you look at any sport, any dominating athlete, we'll look at like a Kobe Bryant, we'll look at a Muhammad Ali. These guys dominated in their purpose, dominated on the court or whatever it is they did. But as soon as they got off the court, they were still that masculine dominating person, but you saw like a different side.
Yeah, that's the thing that I saw with the thing with Kobe. The fact that we everybody saw the sportsman side of him, but nobody ever saw the family. But that only come out after.
That's true. I did hear that,
and it was disappointing because I think if that come out whilst he was still in his prime, then things may have been different. Like people may have perspective things a bit differently, because it's such a shame that such a great sportsman had to have his demise, and then it was only to his demise that his softer side was shown. Why not show them both? Like why?
Yeah, they
why
don't
not
show enough.
both?
They don't show enough.
Things may have been different. I'm not a mystic Meg. I mean, that's the English version of being a psychic. But it's like I don't. It could have been different. So I just.
But I think we don't see enough of it. I think we see a lot. We are shown a lot of like the masculine side of a man, but we're not shown enough of the softer side. I don't want to call it feminine, because I think it's just because you're softer, it doesn't mean.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's acceptance, though. Not everybody
acceptance. Yeah,
like you can tell the world their rights and give them the 100 Dalmatian title of everything, and go, guess what? But it's acceptance. You've got to be able to preach something that is acceptable for everybody. You've got to be able to say something that's acceptable for everybody, because not everyone's going to agree, not everyone's going to disagree, not everyone's going to believe you, not everyone's going to disbelieve you. It's a case of that you have to set path or set stone, something that is a stepping stone for everybody else to go, actually what that person said is right. So you've got to be not gospel, because you can't be gospel, because the mere mention of it is now, I'm retreating. Do you know what I mean? We had this conversation earlier. You can't even mention anything really biblical, because people will be like, well, I'm not interested.
There's too much input.
So it's too much input. So you have to be regression you have to say it rawly.
Yeah.
And you have to be open rawly.
Yeah.
And you have to express yourself rawly. Yeah. Then otherwise no one will listen.
Yeah. I just want to touch on something a little bit outside of this, but it's still obviously still in the subject. Like growing up, and I used to watch films, and I know this is to go on the feminine side, but it is gonna intertwine with the masculine side here. When I would watch films of women that were successful, they always showed a woman to be really aggressive, really rude, and try and find another word instead of without
assertive.
But super assertive, right?
Yeah, super.
So when I used to see when I used to see successful women, I used to think that to be successful, you have to be this aggressive, like horrible, how can I say, like just so assertive that you turn into a man. And that's all I used to see until I got older and I understood in my own ways. I thought, no, it doesn't work like that. Well, it works like that in films. They try and show it like that. But in reality, just because I'm successful, it doesn't mean I need to be a bitch. And that's how they portray it in that sense. They portray women to be really, really... I want to say it. What's another word to use?
That's the thing. You could say it, and I know where you're going with it, full point. But that's the thing. You also got to look at it. A lot of those women that are overly assertive and like very masculine, men are repelled by those girls, or by those women.
That's what Sean was saying earlier.
Yes,
they're repelled because they're like,
exactly. You could agree with me on this one, Michael. That the fact that if a woman is being masculine, it's a bit of a turn off, really, and
it's a big turn because that's the thing.
Massive turn off. I'm like, I really, that's my place, or it's just like, I just want to shrivel and just die away. Do you know what I mean?
Leave it out.
The men, and I've noticed this too.
I'm just like, okay.
It's interesting that you say that because I've noticed
I've
noticed that with a lot of men, they'll say, bring that in the bedroom, but don't bring that outside of the bedroom.
That's pressure, mate. I tell you that. I mean, listen, that is absolute pressure. You can't put that on a man. That's just, we've got to deal with.
No, but like,
we're the ones who've got to deal with it. You know what I mean? And you're making us deal with this extra vibe
Look at
of.
me.
Well, no, I am, because you're the only woman in the table. So
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of men will always say, "Bring that masculine dominating energy in the bedroom, but don't bring it outside of it." Like I've heard them like have
Okay,
that.
yeah. I get you. No.
But it's
What's
very
your
interesting
take on that, Michael? What's your take on
what
that?
you mean?
If a woman comes to you and wants to bring masculine energy to the bedroom, how do you see that?
That's a no from me.
Okay.
That's a no from me.
And
That's
can
a no
I
from me.
Do you know what my personal take is? Like it's an English saying, like whatever the weather, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
whatever
the weather, you know. So that's my English saying. Whatever the weather, whatever happens, you know. If I do like it, then I'll go with it. If I don't, then I won't.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, you're right. I mean, as regards to women being masculine in the bedroom, because I'm glad we want to touch on this subject, because we need every subcultural or every sub, structure we need to talk about as regards with masculinity, because and I know that there is so many different levels of masculinity. And now we're going to touch on the sexual one, which is fun. So this is a free open table.
Yeah.
So that's
like a relationship.
As regards to relationships, like it's not a no, but it's definitely something that I wouldn't want in a relationship, because I feel that my masculinity is now just gone from there to
it's
there.
being challenged.
Yes, exactly. So, but there is a time and a place when it comes to sexual masculinity. There's a time and a place, 100%.
That's why I'm going to ask you the question.
Doors when no one can see. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's why I'm going to ask you a game-changing question.
Yeah.
You see, and I'm glad that we brought up the whole Mike Tyson thing, because even for me, Conor McGregor is a form of toxic masculine because it's so hyper.
It's too hyper. Yeah, you're right. I mean,
that to me is like because of the things that he does.
It's over the top. Too much.
It's over the top.
Yeah, OTT.
Maybe he's acting, but a lot of people say that's who he is. But
I think he's just jumped on the bandwagon of hype. Is what he's done, mate.
Yeah,
he's jumped,
because you see, he's hurting all these people outside of the ring.
I'm not going to be funny. I'm quarter Irish, so there is going to be a part of me that will stick up for Conor McGregor, because I am quarter Irish. My dad is half Irish, half English, so there is a part of me that will stick up for him. But I will totally agree. Too much hype, too much.
Because he's like hurting people outside of the ring, and it's like,
and that's toxic energy. That's toxic masculinity, right?
He's like over hyping it, but it's like at the same time, like, let's take a Mike Tyson, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard this story. Somebody tried to rob him in an alleyway, and he knocked the dude out.
Yeah, good.
Guy had a gun, and he knocked him out.
Yeah, good.
Well, I think that's a good thing, because if someone tries to rob you, then knock them out. I agree with that.
But then if that happened to Conor McGregor, then what would be the situation? See what I'm saying? What would Conor McGregor do? Would he talk? Would he be progressive with his hype? What would happen? We don't know, do you? At least we know Mike Tyson can back it. At the end of the day, he can back his words, he can back who he is, because I know that. Yeah. I'm not being funny. I wouldn't want to be in a ring with Mike Tyson or in a room. I would be scared. I think my energy would just go from there to there. Do you know what I remember? You're much greater than me. I'll bow down to you.
I'm throwing the towel and be like, nope. I'm throwing the towel. I'll be like, I'm not getting knocked out by nope.
I'll be tapping out.
Yeah, completely.
But so there's too much hype, and that's what you call toxic masculinity, is where it's OTT is too much. Because then when you're OTT and it's too much, and you're being toxic, the opposite person you're trying to impress is then second guessing, is then like thinking to themselves, actually, do you know what? Is this right? Ain't that right? So when it comes to toxic masculinity, being that way, you're going to have the opposite of somebody questioning what you're doing and questioning your hype. And you're questioning his hype. I'm questioning his hype because it's a bit too OTT, it's too much. Do you know what I mean? So
in the ring, I think he's fantastic.
In the ring, that's it. Yeah, you're right.
But outside of that, it's like, what are you trying to prove? Because I think literally masculinity is not a form of trying to prove yourself. It's a form of being.
Being. Yeah, you're right. It's just there, isn't it?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I think
you're
that's
right.
where it comes down to saying, like, it's not something that you have to stand and consciously think, I'm going to be masculine here. You just are being a masculine. That's just who you are. That's how you are. If a man portrays a lot more of a feminine energy, then that's just who they are too. And you can't, I don't think you can't change anybody unless somebody wants to like try and implement it.
Listen, being masculine is either a case of that you are masculine,
Or you're not.
you're not,
Yeah.
or you're showboating,
Yeah.
or you're not, or you're just really a true person. Like,
yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's when I look like a sense of being, like, for example, like, you know that, like, if Kobe Bryant's playing a game, you know that he's scoring 50 points. Like, you know that automatically. Like, you know.
But that's a different hype, though. That's a better hype.
Yeah.
That's a self-acknowledgement hype.
Yeah.
That's a hype of what he doesn't have to show. He's just being and doing. Conor McGregor will show you a hype that I can do this, I can do that.
Yeah.
There's a different hype between Kobe and Conor.
That's
you
true.
What I mean?
Because it's more gracious on Kobe's side and a sense of acknowledgement.
Yeah,
but that's
calmer.
But that's humbler. That's better.
That's
I'd rather be that side than this side.
Yeah, and then McGregor, it's like I have to constantly prove.
Yeah, but then that's the point of him constantly proving is just making it look even more suspect. The fact that why do you need to go on that way? Like, what do you're actually progressing the thoughts and your progress in your hype. You know what? You don't need to do that. If you're humble enough and you're true enough and you're a true sportsman, then you don't need to do it. Like Kobe, he didn't need to do that. He was just natural. He was just done his thing. He went on the court. He won. He done this. He done that. He done it naturally. It's a natural flow. You know what I mean? But he didn't see him in an interview going, "Oh, well, you know, I'm going to win this and I'm going to do that," because you never did. I bet you didn't see that.
No, I didn't.
I know that Michael never saw that. I never saw that.
No, I never saw that.
Exactly. So it's a natural thing. So that is the toxic masculinity that we're talking about. You know what I mean?
But see, it's so interesting that you bring that up, because even when you look at a guy like Muhammad Ali, he was still gracious, but he's like, I'm the best.
Yeah, but he was humble with it though. He was
humble with it. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. You know, he was honest.
The energy you're bringing again.
He was honest, but he was the energy. Listen, as much as you feel that Conor McGregor can be honest, he's not. You can tell by looking at something and feeling something and having that progression of what they're trying to reflect onto you. You can take it in and go, actually, that man's humble, or actually, that man's being facetious. You can look at Ali and go, that's humbleism to a T. I accept that. I take that in, like I soak that in within my soul and go, yeah, okay, I accept that, what he's doing. Like, so that's what I'm saying to you. So that's the differences. Like with Tyson, with Ali, and with Conor, like that's the differences. Like there's the humbleism with it. You know what I'm saying? Tyson had his two ways about him, which was, you know, I was humble, but then also I was a fighter, where Ali was totally humble and he just literally float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You know what I mean? So,
proper.
But Conor is just pure hype. So we just, you know, it's just, you know.
But isn't that what they get? Isn't that something that the media will show you? So we don't know if there is.
Not really. It's
because if you think about it, the media will always show you what they
feel they
say. Yeah,
not
what
really,
will
because,
sell,
but not really, because
you
one person will show you this, one person will show you that, another social aspect of it will show you that, and they will show you what they want to know. But it's only your take at the end of it that matters.
Yeah.
So then it all depends on your take. I could have 7 different social aspects implying something to me about one person, but it's your only aspect that matters because you've seen it in 6 different ways. But then you've also experienced yourself. So you can look at different people and go, oh, well, I can bracket that person and I can put that in that person's box, or that goes there, that goes there. No, because you just know. Ali was the greatest. Titan is the greatest fighter. He's still going strong. And Conor is just obviously, you know, he's just a hypey person that's fun. Do you know what I mean? So you know the concepts because you can say the same thing to everyone else. Like they will tell you the same things. Yeah, that's how I actually see it. Yeah, that's how I see that person. Yeah, that's how I see Ali. That's how I beat this person. You know? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not like a singular person going, well, actually, no, I see him as this person. No, because we're all thinking the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all thinking the same thing. So, you know, Michael's right. As regards to sports and masculinity and toxic, and, you know, someone being toxic within masculinity, then, you know, there is time and a place for it. And, you know, it does go on. Whether it's good or bad, okay, it's good for some, clearly, because the fella's worth millions. But then, are you going to be being able to be toxic? Is that a good following?
No.
Are you going to be able to be a millionaire to follow his toxicity? I'm going to be toxic like McGregor because guess what? I might become a millionaire. Nah, that's you're going to catch a case.
It's losing your morals, though.
No, you're catching a case, mate.
Yeah,
you are. Well, that happened to Connor multiple times. But I mean?
You're looking at a 5-year stretch, something like that.
For me,
but yeah.
For me, I say this. For me, and again, some people might disagree with this. I think Jesus was the most masculine person, me personally.
Because
he was able to be loving and graceful, but he was assertive when he needed to be.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's true gracefulness,
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's you suit the energies to suit the time. You suit the time to suit whatever energies need to be put out. So if you need to be masculine, you are, but you're natural flow. You need to be feminine, but you be a natural feminine. But you're just guess what? You're being natural flow. And yes, 100% you're right, Michael.
Like he was never rude about it, but he was like,
so he's the first. But that's the thing. He was the firstborn. So let's say he was the firstborn to experience that. But guess what? He never chose nothing apart from being humble, apart from being everything that he needs to be to show everybody else you don't need to be this way.
But I think it was natural again. I think this is what it comes back down to. It's a natural thing, isn't it? It's natural because you naturally will, look, we've spoken about good men, bad men, or good women, So I think if you just put it into the content of a good man will be able to just like balance that out naturally. He'll know when to do the right, when to have that soft energy and when to have that masculine energy. Like I'm sitting here with, obviously you're not here with us, but it's two masculine people. I mean, like guys, right? And then you got a feminine.
You feel pigeonholed.
And I don't feel but I feel like it's not being. It's
two against one.
No,
is that
it's
what you
not.
feel
No,
like?
no. I don't actually. I feel like I know that you guys have got the stronger energy here. But
it's not about stronger energy though, Anth. No one has the superior power. We all have power. And every power that we have, whether it's feminine, masculine, or whatever else, it doesn't matter. It's not about over empowerment. It's whatever you believe. So, and whatever your belief system is.
Oh, it's honestly, feeling too.
It's feeling, yes,
it's a feeling too.
But masculinity is there. It always will be.
Yeah,
you can't take it away.
And it's a great thing.
You can't. You can't make that box smaller than what it is.
No.
There's a reason why I named the title of this podcast that, because a lot of women are coming forward and saying, I need a masculine man. They're lacking a lot of that masculine energy. So it's like,
why do you think that is, Michael? Why?
No, I just think that a lot of people are confused with the times and the days now. Like we're in a transition of our life at a time where we need to be both. Now, people may have met the person where they're just completely masculine. They haven't moved forward with the times yet. So maybe it's a case of catching up with the criteria of life that we're in. So, a lot of everybody now, I'm sort of born in the 70s, but I still have the characteristics of someone who's born in this era. So I will be masculine and I will be feminine. So not a lot of women will meet men like yourself, Michael, who can be both and be masculine when it needs to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They will just meet somebody who's a total
do you think it's
a-hole.
Yeah. One becomes more than the other.
Else,
There's an out of balance going on.
Yeah.
So what was your...
The reason why the women feel that way, it's because they crave it naturally. Because I've noticed that when I've talked to women that have that masculine man, there's the highest level of attraction. Highest, because again, they're getting the safety, the security. They're like, my man knows how to take charge. He knows how to lead. He knows how to get things done. Like if something comes up, a problem, he's already on it. He's already figured it out. He's already applied that level of masculinity. Or let's say she comes to him and she's like, I need help. He's already like, Kate, let's do this. Boom. Like he's not a deer in the headlights, I think you said something really interesting about even the sports part about taking charge. And that's what women really crave, is that I need a man to come into my life and take charge and kind of tell me, hey, this is what we're doing in the relationship. This is where it's going. we're going on this trip, we're doing this, we're doing that, and it's like being done.
Yeah.
So it's like a leader as such.
Yeah,
what
it's
you're
like a
saying.
leadership.
I'll say you're right. It's like being a leader, but then that's your acceptance, though, isn't it? So as a woman, it's me saying to you, look, I'm taking control. I'm going to be doing this. Can you accept the challenge? Would you accept the challenge that I'm going to be leader and I'm going to do that? Would you accept the challenge?
Absolutely.
Would you say to yourself, actually, I believe in Jerry Spice what she said?
No, not me.
Girl power.
Not me. No,
you're not one of them ones.
No, I think you know that already. I think you know that already.
Well, no, it's just because
I think we need to answer this right now.
No, but I pointed you out earlier. I just wanted to point you out live on stream. You're definitely not Jerry Spice who says girl power.
No, 100%. Well,
unless
you've seen that from me. Have you seen that from me?
No.
Okay.
I'd have to question you on both planes.
Okay.
That one there we had a conversation with, and this one. Oh.
Okay, cool.
Because it's interesting.
Sorry.
You'll see like a woman date, like let's say she's dated like 10 guys, right? And she's like them all. But her highest form of attraction came from the guy that gave her the most masculine energy. Yes.
The more memories that she would think, and the more where she's drawn to is where the man ever the most masculinity, albeit that it's not the be all and end all, though.
Because
it's not the feeling. No, sorry.
Because I've noticed that when a man's fully masculine, a woman is drawn to him like a moth to a flame. Absolutely. No, it's true. No, it is true, because if a man is continuously putting everything on you as a woman, and you're having to take direction in every single aspect of the relationship, then now that's making the woman like masculine. Having to bring out a masculine side to her. And I think
do you know what? The building is like, if I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm being masculine, how my role is meant to be, and then the woman decides that she wants to play part masculine, I have no quarrels with that. Like, if we're being transparent with each other,
and that's what we were saying. Transparency.
If you're 100% transparency with me, and I go, well, you know what, you can bring some masculine traits to it, and as long as we're transparent with each other and we tell each other boundaries, because boundaries are a massive thing. Listen, you can do something, and you ain't set your boundaries. It's game over, my love. Or my friend, it's game over. You ain't set no boundaries, then I don't know what's going on. And you're doing this and doing that, and I'm like, oh, I'm scared. I'm going. I'm off. You know what I mean? So, it's all about boundaries. You know what I mean? I think boundaries. What do you think?
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Think if you set boundaries, if you want to be masculine or feminine or what you want to do, at least tell me. At least be transparent. And go, do you know what? Like, I feel this way, and I'm going to do this.
Okay, look, there's been times I'm going to say where I will say, all right, let's go and do this. Yeah. And I've picked a place, let's go and do this. And we've gone along and done it. Now, you could say that because I took the lead, I'm being masculine. But in like what you're saying, in that situation, it's not. No, I don't think so either.
I just think you're just creating a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I think.
You're being
proactive.
Yeah, you're taking initiative. Like, that's totally fine.
But I agree with that.
But like, put it this way: if you're on a date with a guy, he wants to pay because he wants to show you that I can provide. But if you pay, now you're taking away his role.
But if you do that, that means you've got to do that for the rest of your two
lives. No, I don't think so.
Well, you don't think so? You don't think you're setting pace?
No, I don't.
So you don't think that by me going, okay, I'm going to pay for your meal today.
But you would naturally, if we went on a first date, if me and you went on a first date and we never actually done, have we?
No, which we've never done. So anyway. Hang on. Don't you think they're setting pace? I.e., that if I go and turn around and go, oh, guess what? You know what? I'm paying for this because I feel like the man today.
No.
Yeah? And then what? You don't think you're expecting that for every other?
No.
Yeah, but but you saying that. No, but how many people will think that that's expected every single time?
Because again, it comes down to balance, and it comes down to transparency. It does.
So we had this conversation earlier. Not everybody knows.
No, that's everybody. But we're talking about
initiative that we have.
No,
not everybody will understand that. Yes, there will be people that will just do because they see. Yeah. If I turn around and say I'm paying for this meal, you're telling me there's no one in the world that's going to think that I'm going to expect to be doing this all the time.
Most women will think that.
That's what I'm speaking on behalf for everybody.
Okay, most women will think that.
There's a lot of people out there who will go, oh, he's paid for this and he's taking control.
But then, does that mean
for the whole time?
But does that mean if a woman pays, then she's now taken the lead to say that she's going to pay for every single meal?
That's fine. I'll become feminine.
No, but see, I don't think that's a problem.
That's what I'm joking.
But I think the man should pay majority of the time.
Yeah, yes. I just think it's a give and take thing. You know, it's two energies. So it's like one energy one day is like, you know what, I'm paying, and then the other.
Oh yeah, like it's totally cool. But like as a man, I want to create the environment for you where it's like I got you. Like don't worry about it.
Yeah, I get that. Totally, 100%.
Yeah, I think, and that's
because
the
you want
security thing.
Because you want everything to be right. You want everything to work out.
Yeah,
right.
and
you want everyone to know. Not everyone, but you just want that person to know that you've got this.
Yeah,
I've
got your back, and I think that's
I've got everything.
Well, I've got your back in the sense of if we go out for a meal, and the man pays. That to me is not saying, oh, this is going to be forever now. But if he continued to pay, some people do. But I think it's right. I personally think that it's right for the man to pay on the first date because it is showing a sense of masculinity. It's okay, and it's showing a sense of like you feel that security. But you're going on the fourth date now, and the woman turns around and says, "Actually, you know what? I've got this." And he just says, "Cool, thank you, babe." Like that's it. And I think that's a nice gesture.
He's going to say about time.
He could say about.
I'm joking.
No.
Well, see, as I look at it like this, like for me personally, like I would rather do it that way because I've always looked at it is let's say for example, I bring home pasta, the woman turns it into spaghetti. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I've always looked at it is. Women are great, amazing receivers.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Through that receivement, like let's say, like I create the kingdom of like, as Anthea said, I got your back. Don't worry about it. It really allows her to take like what we have and turn it into amazingness. Because you'll always hear like, and again, I've talked to a lot of married people. A man can buy a house, but a woman turns a house into a home.
Yeah, we've got that same initiative and the same analysis in England. The fact that we give a woman something, she turns it into something else. We give her this, she turns it into that. We've got the same analysis, haven't we, in England?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a good thing. I think like that's again stems from the beginning of time as such, and it's now gone into a different era. As we were saying, it's now like now it's from back in the cave stuff. It's now into homes, and we can do that because we're good at that, and that's where. And I think if you give the man his role and the woman her role, you could be the greatest at each side of it if you're allowing that person and you're giving them that space to do that. Like I can go into a home and it could be an absolute mess and I'll walk in and I'll make it look lovely, as in clean the whole place up, but I will enjoy doing it. And it doesn't mean if a man comes and helps me, it means that he's now become feminine. It means now we're working as a team and we can make progression, and it makes it a better environment for us.
It works for them, didn't it?
Yeah.
They survived.
Yeah, exactly.
They survived, and so it worked out for them.
Yeah, it worked out.
Well, that's why I always say, like, I always say from like a dynamic point of view, even in the dating, you have the president, which is the man, and the vice president. The president never does anything without the vice president.
No.
Yeah.
Think about it. Where does the president ever make a choice without asking the vice president?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he needs the
approval.
Yeah.
And another thing that I like the saying of behind every great man is a great woman, because I think that's it's a beautiful saying when you really think about it.
But that's just bigging yourself up though, isn't it?
Well, of course it is, but no, but I'm bigging the man up. I'm bigging the man up too. No, because if there's a great man, and then the great man is showing signs of greatness in many different ways. Like he's assertive, he can be a leader, he knows where he's going, he knows where his life is at, he knows what direction he wants to go. And his decisions are not just based on what he's saying, he's actually conversating with a woman that he's with, and they're actually being able to bring the decision and be able to make it into something better. So when they're making decisions, yes, it's that I think the man has the kind of final say in things to a certain degree, but the woman will be part of that. And now if she's coming in, if a man's coming and every time the woman's going, just arguing back everything he's saying, then that man can't become his greatness, because he's constantly having to go down into a lower vibrational level, because he's having to deal with somebody who is continuously giving him crap.
Well, listen. This is the be all and end of it was, yeah. We all know that a man cannot live without a woman,
No,
and a woman cannot live without a man. Simple as Adam and Eve, whoever, Adam and Steve,
I completely agree.
whoever it was, yeah. It doesn't matter. You can't.
No, I wouldn't want to live without a man. I wouldn't want a life. If someone said to me today, "You're never going to have a man in your life," I'd be like, "No, let's not go there."
Well, again, man, that was awesome, man. Like, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do it. I think we honestly gave people a very great perspective of what masculinity can be and what it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
because
I'm really happy to talk about whatever subject matter is there.
100%. Well, it's just because we've gone for an hour,
and whatever shall be, whatever progresses within a conversation, and whatever input I can put, and I'm just happy to be on your
100%. We would love to have
had a pleasure,
and I'd love to do more because
100%.
I enjoy it so much because I just want to get the word out there. Like, you can do so many things physical coming from someone who is a sports person or in my sports field or sports psychology. I would rather touch more on my sports psychology in the sense of getting things out there mental than I would physical. I've tried the physical thing. I've done my best out of that. I've done all the physical stuff that I need to do and progress that to other people also. But then, do you know what? There's that mental side, which is the psychology side. And I'll be happy to be on your panel. I'll be happy.
We could totally cover something about
whatever you want to do, I'm happy with that.
We could totally do something about psychology because the reason why I thought today's episode was so important, it's because a lot of young men now are struggling with what is masculinity. Some men don't tap into it until their late 30s.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'd rather people know now than
Do you know what I was going to say, Michael? Do you know what I think a good one that we could have Sean on about is we've spoken about this before. Males growing up without a father figure and what difference it makes. Them in their life.
I've had that myself.
Yeah, and so
I can resonate.
Michael.
I can resonate. I mean, with a lot.
You know what? I can resonate with that too. Yeah. And I think if you want to do that episode about
listen, when it comes to family issues and family tribulations, I'm all in because I've got a lot.
I think men.
And I will listen and I will talk and I will do everything.
I think me and you could talk about the importance of a father figure in a home.
Yeah, definitely.
For men, 100%, because I think it is crucial for a man to have that, because if he doesn't, now he's figuring out masculinity from his friends and they barely even know what it is. He's getting it from movies and TV shows. So he's not getting it from the leader of the household of what it is to be.
Get it from every other aspect. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. So then he ends up. He ends up growing up like, dating poorly, making bad choices and things like that because he didn't have that proper guidance.
True.
But we can also flip it on the woman's side as well. And this will be good when Anthony is there because we can also talk about the lack of masculine leadership in a female household and then the negatives of that.
But look, I think, I'm going to give a perfect example here from 3 people that's sitting here, right now, we've all experienced the same as this. We've all grown up without a father. All 3 of us have gone through relationships, broken up, got into a relationship, broken up. And why? Because we didn't have a solid father figure in our life to teach us. And that's why we've all experienced this.
The abundance of that masculinity within the fatherhood that we never had, that we had to gain it elsewhere. We sometimes may have seeked it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And we may have seeked it in different ways, whether it's social aspects, whether it's, on different, whatever plane you may want to take it on every aspect, that we didn't have that father.
No, we didn't. Because
even if they were there and we was in distraught relationships, because that's basically
then our father would come along and help us.
We never had that guidance.
No, we didn't have that guidance. And if you have just before I know we've got to finish up here, but if you have a look, or you do, or people out there do a bit of research on this, if you see women that have grown up with their father in the house, they've ended up married at quite a young age with a good man.
And they end up respecting masculine authority.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
They respect men
because it's the way forward.
Oh my God, there's so much to say about this.
Okay, so
let's
write that topic down, and we'll try to plan it before the holidays.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm available.
Yeah, we're going to make you available.
Are you gonna?
Yeah, we're going to make you available.
No, that's fine.
He hasn't got a choice. No, I'm
Well,
joking.
no, it's because I know that with Christmas and events and all
Yeah.
those
No, that's
things,
fine. Listen,
Well, we can do it during the day.
I'm free anyway.
Yeah.
It's fine.
yeah, we'll make it happen. But
I mean,
definitely
to be fair, I'm not going to lie to you, Michael. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, which is do podcasts.
And I'm glad that we gave you the platform to do it.
It's not even just you giving me the platform, Michael. It's the fact that I know that my past experience will resonate with a lot of people out there.
I think it will.
And whatever I've got to say, whatever my reactions facially or expressionally or whatever I say in reaction to things, that I know that there's something that I can give to people out there that they can help them some way, that can guide them some way. And I don't need recognition for that. I just want people to know what I've gone through with my life and what my past experiences are and what I see it as. And I know that deep down, there's people out there that will have the same feeling or go through the same things. And I don't want them to go through a lot of the things that I went through. So I'm happy to open up. I will open up all day long about myself.
Well, that's why we have to do it. Because what people don't understand, the reason why we have this podcast is so we can help people avoid the pitfalls that we avoided, so they don't create more heartbreak for themselves, because that's what happens.
Yeah, you're right.
Easily.
Either. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, very.
100%.
All right, guys. I want to say thank you so much for joining us. It's been an amazing podcast today. We've had a lot of fun. I'm sure you agree, Michael. I'm sure you agree, Sean. We've had an amazing time today. Again, we didn't say it at the beginning. Don't forget to like and follow us. Everything's down below, as you can see. We have the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We will be on. What's it called, Michael? What's the other one? TikTok. We're going to be on TikTok. Thank you very much, Sean. Yes, we'll be on TikTok too. So yeah, please like and follow us. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. We're really excited about being there. So we hope to see you all on our next one. We'll be back on Friday, Michael.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, we're going to be talking about shaming. People shaming people for their preferences.
Yes, I'm excited about this one, actually. Michael and myself have spoken a lot about this, and we think it's a great and amazing topic to cover. So please tune in on Friday, UK time.
And then we're doing Saturday, a bonus episode.
We got a bonus episode on Saturday.
Concluding one of our most popular topics is, can men and women be friends?
Right, we touched on this earlier.
Michael,
we're gonna be we're gonna be talking about that on Saturday.
That's gonna be a good one.
We're gonna be talking about that on Saturday, guys. That's a bonus episode for you guys, because again, there seems to be a lot of still confusion,
stigmata about the whole situation, isn't there? It's like,
there's still more confusion on it, and we're here to clear it up. And we have 2 videos we're going to show that day. And I need people to understand that when we talk about the men and women, can they be friends? It's not me saying it. It's other women outing you guys.
Yeah, and it's also guys asking that question. Can we be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because a lot of women feel like, oh, don't tell us what to do. It's not us. It's other women outing your playbook, telling you it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. I don't think it works.
It can. It can't. I don't. It depends on the social aspects. That's the only thing that spoils it.
I will say this, Sean. The reason it can only work is if there is no sexual attraction, but majority of the time there is.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's not very often.
It doesn't. It's not even just that. It's the way it's perceived. So if you're on a social aspect of how you feel that people are looking in on you, that makes a big difference. If you're thinking that no one's watching me, no one's bothering about me, that I've got this friend with me and she's female and I can, get on with whatever I'm doing and we can be friends, that's absolutely fine. But then as soon as someone finds out, oh, actually we're friends, they're probably thinking we're sleeping with each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a social aspect.
Yeah, but it goes deeper. I think.
But as soon as you look at that person and say they're attractive, because you can't help who you're attracted to. As soon as you say, bam, I'm sexually attracted to them, friendship over. Because you're always going to want the relationship more than the friendship.
100%.
Yeah, no, so you're right.
Because I've spoken to females too, and they said if I'm attracted to a man, I ain't being his friend. I want to roll around in the hay with him. I'm like, okay. And this was a female that told me this. Yeah, like a female told me this, and I was like, and she's like, I can't be his friend. If I'm attracted to him,
I get that.
I'm not being his friend.
Yeah, but well, look, there's so much to say. We could go on here. Yeah. We could do a whole new episode right here and right now. But I think let's save this. But
yeah, let's save it for Saturday.
Yeah, but it's going to continue like this.
Yeah,
and we will see you guys on Friday. So take care, everybody, and thank you very much for tuning in.
Take care, Michael.